A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Kutv Primetime News at 9. We are 22 days into the month of January, the year 2026. A day that we have so much stories that are lined up for you. But first, let's get an introduction. And with me is Mutava Mwongeli. But remember that this broadcast is also live across all our socials. You can get us on YouTube at Kutv News Kenya, on X it's KTV_Kenya. My name is Ochieng, Cynthia, and let's get started. Now, President William Ruto today launched a new phase of the Nyota Startup Fund at Kinoru Stadium, Meru County, urging young entrepreneurs to harness innovation and discipline. This is as Kenya accelerates economic growth, job creation, and a future driven by youth-led enterprise.
At Kinoru Stadium in Meru County, President William Ruto distributed the Nyota Startup Funds to youth entrepreneurs, assuring that the bottom-up allies are part of the initiative and stressing that the program targets all eligible beneficiaries without discrimination.
Wakati tulisema bottom up, it was not a slogan. Kama sio bottom up, tungekutoa wapi mungwana? Tungekutoa wapi? Si tumesema hii program sio kupatikana hapa town peke yake. Hii program tumesema we designed it that it must be in every ward in the Republic of Kenya. Na tumesema katika kila ward tutafute vijana kati ya 70 na 80, kila kijana tumpatie 50,000 afanye biashara.
President William Ruto stated that Kenya's dream of becoming a first world country has been hindered by poor governance, not its people, and pledged that his administration will restore effective leadership to drive the nation forward.
Kenya hii imechelewa kwa sababu ya uongozi. Problem sio wananchi, problem sio vijana, problem sio pesa, problem ni uongozi. That's the problem. Once we sort out leadership, then Kenya is going to be a first world country. And I want to promise you, by God's grace, nchi hii tutaibadilisha.
Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki highlighted that the Nyota program aims to positively transform the lives of young people, urging beneficiaries at Kinoru Stadium to leverage the initiative's support to grow businesses and contribute meaningfully to local and national development.
Huu mradi ni wa kusaidia vijana ambao wamesahaulika hapo awali, kwa sababu wakati tunaongea mambo ya ajira ya vijana, sana sana viongozi walikuwa wanaongea mambo ya wale vijana ambao wako na degree na wale ambao wako na certificate, na tukasahau tuko na vijana wengi ambao labda kwa sababu moja ama ingine hawakufanikiwa kupata degree ama diploma, lakini wako na talanta ambaye wanaweza kutumia vizuri kuboresha maisha yao na kujenga taifa letu la Kenya.
Cooperatives and MSMES Cabinet Secretary Wycliffe Oparanya urged Nyota Fund beneficiaries at Kinoru Stadium to use the startup capital wisely, stressing that responsible use of the funds will not only benefit the youth but also positively impact the wider community.
Hiyo mafunzo kwa mimi ni kitu ya muhimu sana kwa wewe kwa kufanya biashara. Pesa ndio ni ya muhimu, lakini hiyo mafunzo umepata uitumie vizuri na itakusaidia maisha yako.
Kimani Chungu, Member of Parliament for Kikuyu, expressed gratitude to President William Ruto, praising his support for youth initiatives and urging Nyota beneficiaries to use the funds for sustainable business growth.
Na Mheshimiwa Rais, wakati miaka miwili ulichukua hatamu ya uongozi na ukatuambia vile uchumi wa nchi yetu ulikuwa, ukatuambia utaanza na kuunda miundo msingi ya uchumi wetu wa kitaifa. Kisha baadaye tutakuja kwa huu uchumi wa mwananchi, uchumi wa vijana na mambo ya kuweka ajira kwa vijana. Nishukuru sababu Your Excellency over the last 2 years you have stabilized our economy by dealing with the macroeconomic issues.
Beneficiaries left Kinoru Stadium hopeful, with officials emphasizing that the Nyota initiative will continue supporting youth entrepreneurship and fostering community developments. Edna Nerea, Kutv, Nairobi.
Moving on, the Jubilee Party has today announced major changes within the party's leadership ranks. Speaking at the party's headquarters here in Nairobi, Dr. Fred Matiang'i announced Moitalel Olekenta as the new Secretary General of the party, with former Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni being promoted to the Deputy Party Leader. Additionally, Matiang'i announced the establishment of a new office of the Deputy Party Leader, which will be tasked with identifying, selecting and recruiting members, mobilization, as well as providing legal advisory services. Matiang'i said the leadership changes within the Jubilee Party are aimed at strengthening the party's governance structure as it prepares for the 2027 general elections. Now, on other story, the Committee on Implementation on the 10-point agenda and the NADCO report has today given status of their progress, particularly on the Memorandum of Understanding that was signed between UDA and ODM. Led by the committee chair, Senator Dr. Agnes Zani, the members stated that they have had consultative meetings with the key government agencies and non-governmental agencies and are looking forward to engaging with the public. The party has, however, distanced themselves with political allegations, stating that it is fully independent and will deliver according to the interest of Kenyans.
During the period, we have had meetings with various government and non-governmental organizations with the aim of gathering information as well as acquainting us with the useful content that will form part of our final report to be presented to the two principals, His Excellency the President, Dr. William Ruto, and the new party leader of ODM Party, Senator Dr. Oburu Oginga, at the end of our term in office, and specifically on the 7th of March, when we are meant to give the report. Beginning next month, we shall move on to a very important part of our work as a committee, and that's the countrywide stakeholder engagements, where we intend to meet Kenyans right in the grassroots to listen to them.
When President William Ruto and the late Raila Odinga signed or established this committee, they were pressing literally the reset button of governance in Kenya. And one of the recommendations emanating from the NADCO report was setting up an entity that will oversee the implementation of the 10-point agenda, or rather the NADCO report, hence the establishment of this committee. Members of the press, you may have noted, just as have we done, that over the past couple of days, there's some communication emerging from a section of politicians indicating that this committee is largely idle, unfacilitated, and that nothing to do with the implementation of the 10-point agenda is going on. As Madam Chair has read out our statement, it is clear, you can see, and we are engaging literally all stakeholders, because we are supposed to engage extensively stakeholders in the Republic of Kenya, including members of the public.
The High Court has suspended the salaries of the President's advisors, stating that the President William Ruto's appointment of his 21 advisors lacks constitutional basis. The court ruled that the creation of those offices did not follow constitutional procedures, and therefore the appointments are invalid. As a result, the court ordered the immediate suspension of all salaries and allowance paid to the advisors. The ruling follows a petition by a constitutional watchdog institution which urged that the appointments were made without transparency, without public participation, and without considering the financial implications. The court further directed that all State House offices established since 2010 be subjected to a fresh review. Meanwhile, security agencies in Nyeri have arrested 3 suspects and impounded 150 crates of suspected counterfeit alcohol during a multi-agency crackdown on illicit brews. The surprise operation was carried out at a bar in Misha Trading Center, Ruring Ward, by officers drawn from the National Police Service, KRA, KEBS, the Anti-Counterfeit Authority, NACADA, and the DPP's office. Central Region Commissioner Joshua Nakath, who led the operation, said the raid is part of the government's 100-day rapid results initiative that is aimed at eliminating illicit alcohol and substance abuse. Authorities say similar operations will continue across the region, with suspects expected to be arraigned as investigations into the seized products continue.
We are also telling our teams that this is the time that we need to have an honest discussion about the role we are also playing in ensuring that we implement the directive. All of us have agreed that personal interests aside, this is the work that we should all focus on. Should anybody feel that they cannot implement the directive, then they are free to leave the scene and leave it to those who are willing.
And Kenya Sugar Board has assured consumers of stable sugar prices despite recent concerns over supply and production challenges. In a statement issued today, the board says Kenya's sugar supply remains secure even as the country goes through a transitional production cycle that began in 2025 and extended into early 2026. While national output declined due to factory rehabilitation, cane maturity timelines, and dry weather conditions, authorities say the measures were deliberate and aimed at securing the long-term sustainability of the sector. The board adds that market stabilization measures are in place to prevent artificial shortages and price speculation, urging Kenyans to continue purchasing sugar with confidence as production is expected to rebound later this year.
Nimeandika kwamba umeelewa hiyo maneno nilikueleza. Wewe ndio Nicholas.
And apologies for that mix-up, but then the main suspect in the murder of 7-year-old Tamara Blessings Kabura, which occurred in May 2025 in Wetemere in Nyeri, has shocked the Nyeri High Court after applying to change his plea and admit guilt. Nicholas Julius Macharia, through his lawyer Mahugu Mbarire, asked the court to have the charges read afresh, stating that he was ready to plead guilty. Initially, he had denied the murder charges under Section 203 and 204 of the Penal Code. This case will now proceed on February the 9th this year.
Nimeandika kwamba umeelewa hiyo maneno nilikueleza. Wewe ndio Nicholas Julius Macharia. Julius Macharia, you're charged with the offense of murder contrary to Section 203 as read with Section 204 of the Penal Code. The offense that you, Nicholas Julius Macharia, on the 24th day of May 2025,
and at that point, we are taking a very short commercial break. We'll be back with more stories, including what next after the lapse that was given by the government to have the grade 10 students be enrolled in schools. Stay tuned.
Miti miti, panda panda, miti miti. Our planet's future is in our hands. However, there is a threat to the brightness of this tomorrow. On EarthCheck, we share the challenges, the solutions, and the hope.
I would call this a very momentous day, a very critical day.
Every episode, every story, every step we take creates a ripple. Join me, the environmentalist Emmanuel Kutosi, on Kutv every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and be part of EarthCheck. Welcome.
A new era, a new people. This is the Law Matters Show. A program that brings you legal sensitization on your television.
My statement is written and just the quote the prosecution.
I think that this loss is a setback for Raila Odinga.
What policy recommendations were fronted by the candidate?
With diversity, we demystify important legal issues locally, regionally, and internationally.
What Tanzanians.
Join me, Elvin Onsongo, as I bring you more insights on law matters.
We are looking at social issues. What is the problem? Is it the economy? Is it...
Law Matters Show, creating awareness, advocacy, and enhancing lives.
Welcome back, and let's keep on informing you. And in matters education, while the enrollment process for grade 10 students was completed yesterday, a family from Ntelele area, East Narok County, is calling on well-wishers and education stakeholders to come forward and help young Liten Limpaka join grade 10. Liten is in need of school fees to start his studies at St. Joseph High School, located in Nyeri County.
A grade 10 student from Narok County, Liten Limpaka, secured a chance to join St. Joseph High School in Nyeri County after scoring 51 points in the KGCSE examinations last year. However, the challenge of lack of school fees is threatening his dream of continuing with his education. Limpaka explains that he comes from a single-parent family where his mother frequently falls ill, a situation that forces him to take care of his 5 siblings.
Kwa majina, naitwa Liten Limpaka, naishi Narok, Mosro Ward. Nilifanya grade 9 na nikapita mtihani. Nikapata 51 points na nashukuru Mungu kwa hiyo nimepata. Lakini sikupata pesa ya kwenda shule. Sasa niko tu nyumbani.
According to Limpaka, he has had to do odd jobs such as feeding livestock and farming, which pays him between 200 and 250 Kenyan shillings per day, an amount he says is not enough to cover school fees or daily basic needs.
Mimi ndo nalichanga mama yangu, naenda kibarua, napata 200, na kwa nyumba yetu tuko wa 6, na nilikuwa naomba usaidizi kanda zapata juu hiyo 200 hata itoshi chakula, hata nguo. Kuna siku nakaa bila kula ndio nipate nguo, ama siku nyingine nanunua chakula.
Their neighbor and community health worker Elizabeth Njeri says the community has been helping the family by providing food, clothing and temporary shelter. She is appealing to well-wishers to help Limpaka fulfill his dream.
Unapata ya kwamba ni mama ambaye anahitaji kusaidiwa sana. Tumekuwa tukimsupport mambo ya kuishi, mambo ya chakula, mambo ya watoto. Utapata kila saa anakuja, watoto wamefukuzwa shule, kila saa anakuja, watoto hawana anything hata ya kukula. So sisi kama wanakijiji, especially sisi
On her part, Jemima Torome from the Enototo Olosho organization says the organization has been supporting Limpaka from grade 6 to grade 9, but they are now seeking more assistance so that he can continue with secondary education.
Been able to pay for him school fees from grade 6 to grade 9 where he has reached. I was so proud when he had passed his grade 9. He had been called to St. Joseph Boys in Nyeri, where I was having a problem. So where will I start again? Because I don't have any other option. So my call is that whoever is having any assistance, we are looking for scholarship for this boy.
For now, the future of Liten Limpaka's education remains in the hands of well-wishers, while the young boy holds on to the hope of pursuing studies and ultimately transforming his life and that of his family. Rajab Juma, KUTV.
The Kenya Accreditation Service is taking steps to align the country's accreditation system with international standards, a move expected to open up more regional and global markets for Kenyan products and services. And at the same time, leaders in Migori County are calling for unity and order in political leadership, raising concerns over the future of the community's leadership. Let's get more from the county reports tonight.
Accreditation, symbols, and the penalties for misuse of misrepresentation.
The Kenya Accreditation Service, KENAS, through the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, is currently working to align Kenya's accreditation system with international best practices. The ministry says the move is essential in enabling Kenyan products and services to access broader markets across the continent and beyond.
As you are aware, one of the biggest challenges in the country is having quality product and services. KENAS, being the agency responsible for accreditation, they have found, or we have found as a government, that we need to align and bring to board all the aspects that involve the accreditation.
Any entities out there are supposed to be accredited, and therefore we've mapped the country. We know there are around 3,000 conformity assessment bodies. These are the ones that are undertaking testing, certification and inspection, which should then come to the space within accreditation, and we are talking to them.
The proposed bill is currently undergoing public participation along two other regulations. These include the Accreditation General Regulations of 2025, which outline procedures for accreditation, exemptions, and the use of accreditation marks. In Migori County, a section of Luo Council of Elders from Uriri constituency has called on the younger generation of leaders to follow laid-out community protocols in order to secure leadership positions. The elders, while insisting they welcome young blood into leadership, expressed concerns over the vacuum left by the late Raila Odinga could be exploited to cause chaos if it's not properly managed.
And all the communities in the sub-county, as a community, we do not want differences that divide our people. Let's come together in peace. If there's anything to be solved, we solve it amicably. And there's nothing wrong if leadership goes to the younger people. There's nothing wrong in that. But there's a way that we can work it out that the younger people get leadership from the older people, not struggling with them, not fighting.
Leadership comes if you follow the right channel. Our youth should follow the right channel so that when the old age leaves, then they will come in and take leadership.
Therefore, we welcome them.
Of the women's national football team, Rising Starlets, Jacqueline Juma, has named a provincial squad of 32 players as preparations continue for the third round of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifiers that is against Tanzania. The squad has been reduced from an initial 60 players following assessment of form, fitness and tactics. The Starlets head into this round with high morale after defeating Ethiopia 5-1 on aggregate. The first leg will be played at home at the Ulinzi Sports Complex on the 7th before the return leg at the Azam Complex on the 14th. Fans have been encouraged to turn up in large numbers to support the team.
Actually kwa hii camp tulikuwa na 4 days, tulikuwa na 2 groups of players 30-30. So tulikuwa na new players wenye tulikuwa tunataka kuona. Of course time ilikuwa limited, but these 2 days tumeweza kupata at least 30 players wenye tunataka kupush to the very end.
Preparation imekuwa poa. Naona kila session na improve, na pia department yangu ka goalkeepers tuna improve. Coach anatupush kila time, anatukumbusha that task yenye tuko nayo haitakuwa rahisi. So ni sisi tujipush na to believe in ourselves, to believe kwa ile kenye amekuwa kitufunza na to implement kwa uwanja positively.
Well, that's a wrap from us here at Kenyatta University Television. Thank you so much for your time. That is about 40 minutes. Hope you were engaged and so much informed. And Mutava Mwongeli was our sign language interpreter tonight. My name is Ochieng. Cynthia, do have a lovely night.